Hello all, and welcome to the Terminus Directive. With Star Wars Squadrons coming out soon, I thought I'd discuss the classes of fighters coming and what we might expect to see from them. Today we'll be taking a look at the best dogfighters in the game, the members of the Interceptor class. The New Republic will be fielding the A-Wing, and the Empire will have the TIE Interceptor. Before we begin, we should note that Squadrons will feature asymmetrical gameplay. That is, the fighters on either side will function a little differently and won't be balanced in quite the same ways. So, the A-Wing will have some different systems than its TIE Interceptor counterpart. With that out of the way, let's look at the Interceptor class as a whole. Players looking to pilot Interceptor craft will be pleased to know that their fighters will be the dominant force against other players. The Interceptor's main role is to take out as many enemies as they can, using their powerful weapons and high speed to rack up as many kills as possible. While on the offense, Interceptor pilots are well suited to breaking through enemy lines, punching a hole in their defenses so that friendly bombers can begin pounding capital ships. On defense, Interceptors should target enemy bombers and keep them from attacking the flagship. While Interceptors are uncontested as the strongest option against enemy fighters, they have the weakest armor and are ill-prepared to engage with enemy capital ships. Speed is the Interceptor's greatest advantage, and their pilots should plan accordingly. We'll start by looking at the TIE IN Interceptor. The IN was built by Scion Fleet Systems in an effort to create a ship that would perform better against Rebel attackers compared to the basic TIE. The result was a craft that shared many of the TIE LN's shortcomings, but maximized its strengths. The TIE Interceptor has exceptional maneuverability, with a maximum speed of 1250 kilometers or 775 miles per hour. This made the Interceptor a vessel with a speed matched only by the Rebel A-Wing. The ship featured enlarged solar panels and engines, allowing it to push the already fast TIE LN frame to its limits. The armament of the TIE Interceptor was another upgrade over its predecessor. While it carried the LN's chin-mounted lasers, the Interceptor also had an additional 4 laser cannons, one attached to each wingtip. With this upgrade, the Interceptor effectively tripled the firepower of the older TIE model. While the IN had a number of upgrades, it also shared the same weaknesses as the rest of the TIE line. The ship was still unshielded and still lacked a hyperdrive. The life support systems were also not improved, meaning that pilots still had to wear oxygen recyclers. Additionally, the Interceptor lacked missiles, although like the base TIE, I would expect this feature to be added for the sake of gameplay. Although the TIE Interceptor was intended to replace the TIE Fighter, the war ended before it got its chance. As of the Battle of Endor, the IN made up about 20% of the Imperial Starfighter Corps. Still, Interceptor pilots are considered some of the Empire's most elite, and the lethality of their craft is extremely difficult to match. Opposing the TIE Interceptor is the New Republic's RZ-1 A-Wing Interceptor. In the current canon, the A-Wing was built by Kuat Systems Engineering, although in the older lore it was an Incom product. Regardless of its origins, the A-Wing found a way into the rebellion during its infancy and became a staple of rebel fleets that would last throughout the war. The A-Wing carries a pair of laser cannons, as well as a pair of concussion missile launchers. The fighter has a top speed of 1,300 kilometers, or 810 miles per hour, allowing it to outspeed the TIE Interceptor by a small margin. The vessel also has a light shield and a hyperdrive, although there is no shipboard astromech droid. For our comparison, I would expect both ships to be extremely viable choices. The TIE Interceptor has an incredible armament that will make it very lethal. The A-Wing has fewer weapons, but is slightly faster. Both ships are incredibly maneuverable and should have no problem flying circles around the other classes. The most important thing to keep in mind is that the Interceptors are very poorly armored, and flying them against enemy capital ships should be avoided unless absolutely necessary. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and especially sharing the video. Be sure to subscribe for more Star Wars and sci-fi content. Will you be flying an A-Wing or TIE Interceptor come October 2nd when Squadrons releases? Feel free to discuss in the comments below.